Right now, you're looking at a brand new video of President Trump arriving back in the Washington area tonight. This video just into our newsroom following the president's campaign rally late today in Westmoreland County.
And here is a live look at the White House, where right now the president is back home. Tonight's visit here comes as both parties are fighting for every last vote here in Pennsylvania, with just 60 days until Election Day. The president's visit and our exclusive interview with him is our big story here on WPXI tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lisa Sylvester.
I'm David Johnson. We live streamed the speech for you, and then Channel 11's Aaron Martin was the only TV reporter to speak with the president afterwards. Aaron is live in Latrobe tonight. In fact, you were the last person President Trump spoke with before leaving Pennsylvania. Aaron, what was the biggest takeaway from your conversation?
Well, David, President Trump had an awful lot to say during his campaign rally today here at Arnold Palmer Airport in Latrobe, and he had even more to say in that exclusive interview. And what really came across the strongest was when he was speaking about mail-in voting, as well as whether he would accept the results of the election in Pennsylvania if there is a significant delay in getting those results.
This is a terrible thing for our country, and they know it. The Democrats know this is going to be very bad.
Minutes after speaking to a packed house at Arnold Palmer Airport in Latrobe, President Donald Trump spoke exclusively with Channel 11 about how his supporters will be able to vote. In a tweet today that was flagged by Twitter for violating its election integrity policy, the president encouraged voters to vote by mail and then try to vote again in person to make sure it's counted.
In Pennsylvania, mail-in ballots aren't even processed or tallied until Election Day. Are you concerned this could cause chaos and potentially delay the results?
It's a disaster because that's right. In Pennsylvania, they do it a certain way, and that would lead to many weeks after November 3rd before they're even accounted for, if they're even accounted. This is a terrible thing happening to our country.
County elections officials say without more time to process mail-in ballots, it could take days or even weeks for Pennsylvania to declare a winner.
Mr. President, is there any reason you wouldn't accept the results if there is that significant delay?
Well, no, we're going to hopefully accept the results, and hopefully the results are going to be results. I think we're going to win Pennsylvania by a lot. You see the crowd. It was an incredible crowd, 1,000 standing outside. I think we're going to win big.
The president spent part of his speech calling out cities like Portland for violence during protests. But when asked tonight, the president acknowledged a distinction between what's happening in Portland and what's happening in Pittsburgh, where protests have largely remained peaceful.
I'm all for peaceful protest, but when you have anarchists and agitators and rioters and looters and everything else, that's different. But you're right, Pittsburgh has had some peaceful protests. I'm all for that.
Now, we also spoke to the president about the restaurant industry, which of course has struggled during the pandemic. You can hear his comments about what he wants to see happen here in Pennsylvania on Channel 11 Morning News. As for the entirety of our exclusive interview, you can watch that right now on WPXI.com and the WPXI News app. David and Lisa.
All right, thanks, Aaron. And as you saw, Aaron asked the president about mail-in ballots. A new intelligence report out tonight warns that Russia is trying to amplify false claims that mail-in voting will lead to widespread fraud. The bulletin issued by the Department of Homeland Security said in part, "We assess that Russia is likely to continue amplifying criticisms of vote by mail and shifting voting processes amidst the COVID-19 pandemic to undermine public trust in the electoral process." President Trump has repeatedly said mail-in voting is unsafe, although his campaign website does have a pop-up instructing people to request a ballot.
And happening right now, late tonight, both candidates responding to a report from the Atlantic magazine that President Trump disparaged fallen and wounded members of the military, calling them, quote, losers and suckers. The Atlantic claims that he asked that wounded veterans be kept out of military parades, in fact. Joe Biden released a statement in the last 90 minutes saying, quote, if I have the honor of serving as the next commander-in-chief, I will ensure that our American heroes know that I will have their back and honor their sacrifice always. Our Aaron Martin asked the president about the article directly tonight.
I can tell you there's nobody that respects the soldiers more than I do. I respect them with my life. I've taken care of them like nobody's taken care of.
And as we mentioned, Aaron was the last person the president spoke with here in the Pittsburgh area, and the Atlantic article was his last question. Well, pool reports in D.C. that just came out say that as the president got off of Air Force One tonight, he gave a 7-minute angry denial about the Atlantic story. You can watch our entire raw interview with President Trump right now on the WPXI News app.
Of course, the crowd that turned out in Latrobe to support President Trump is another big headline tonight. Thousands of people gathered outside of the airport. So many, in fact, that not everyone got in.
And our Melanie Gillespie continues our Team 11 coverage tonight with reaction from just the last 2 hours.
We're talking about a crowd in the thousands. People were parking their cars here along 981 just for a chance to see President Donald Trump and his campaign message in a county he won 4 years ago. Trump flags, signs, and posters saturated Arnold Palmer Regional Airport tonight in Latrobe as President Donald Trump made his first stop in Pennsylvania this year. Even though a lot of folks like Colleen Jolly couldn't get inside to see President Donald Trump in person, seeing him on the big screen in the overflow crowd was just as good.
I think it's great. I wish all the channels would show what is really happening and the truth.
Jolly says what she's hearing from Trump tonight is exactly what she came here for.
Mostly what he has been saying, that, you know what, we have a family member, a son-in-law that's a cop. I want that not to be defunded, to stand up and know you can't have criminals running around doing just whatever they want to.
The crowd here in the thousands exhausted capacity quickly. Some were turned away after waiting hours in line, but their spirits weren't dampened.
It's been massive the whole time. Yeah. I mean, we've been here, they've been coming in since 9:30.
When we called, they said maybe 4,000 people. There's at least 4,000 cars. So, yeah, it's awesome. And everybody's being super cool. Everybody's, on the same page.
We're here to support him for our 3 grandchildren so they have a better future.
First responders had to actually shut down Route 981 where it meets 30 because so many cars were still coming into the airport. Reporting in Latrobe, I'm Melanie Gillespie for Channel 11 News.